Welcome inside Payroll Connected. I'm excited to show you how fast you can do your payroll using our software. Before I get going, I want you to know that in the top corner, you can always click on the scheduling type, in this case total hours worked in period, to bring up this video again so you can watch it for a refresher or maybe catch some tips that you missed along the way. This is a sample company I have set up with 3 employees on a bi-weekly pay period. First, I'm going to show you how you can quickly schedule an employee for work. Then for the next employee, I'm going to slow it down and explain some features along the way and various features of the scheduler. And then for the third employee, I'll once again go through quickly so you can get a refresher of how fast you can finish your payroll with Payroll Connected. Alright, let's get going. So the first step is to choose the first day that the employee worked in the pay period. In this case, it'll be August 9th. And then select the correct employee. In the shift length calculator, enter the number of hours the employee worked in the pay period and the number of minutes if applicable. In this case, there's none. Then, when you choose the number of days that they worked, which is a regular 10 days within a 2-week period, you'll notice that it calculates the shift length for each shift automatically. 8 times 10 is 80. And down here in Add Shift to Check Days, it'll automatically take a guess at what the employee's schedule would look like. Then just click Add Shift to Check Days. And when you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, you can see how this employee's schedule looks within a calendar. There, this employee is done. Now if we go up to the top and go Management, Payroll Prepare, and use the pay period end date of August 21st in this case for both of these dates, we can click on Submit Date, and just like that, Payroll Connected is generating the payslip for your employee. You can review the payslip by going on View Sample Payslip, and once the payslip has been reviewed and everything is correct, you can go back to the main screen, check that you have reviewed the payroll, and move on to finalization. In finalization, you can choose to email your payslips to your employees or not by unchecking this, and then finalize this payroll. Just like that, Payroll Connected makes it that easy to do your payroll. So now we'll go back and we'll add another employee, and I'll explain a few things as we go. So we'll go back to General and Scheduler, where we can add another employee to this payroll run. So as I mentioned, if you want to review this video, you can click on Total Hours Worked in Period, or if you want to check out some of the other ways to schedule employees for work, just click on the option, and it will automatically show or hide fields based on the option you select. You'll notice that the shift length calculator is now hid, and start and end times is showing. You can manually select which one of these fields you want to see by clicking the little plus sign beside it, and you can hide any field by clicking the minus sign. You'll notice that by default, Copy Shift to Multiple Days is hid. In this case, I'm going to click the plus sign to show this field so I can explain a few things. Also note that as you're going through the software, there are magnifying glasses throughout, assigned to various fields. By simply mousing over the magnifying glass, it will give you further information about this field and how to use it. If you need any help using our software, please do contact Payroll Connected support. You can find our support at the bottom of every page in this dark gray bar by clicking on Contact Payroll Connected. It will bring up a form that you fill out, and then we will contact you appropriately. Or feel free to call us at 250-540-4560. Our support is available from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 days a week. So no matter what the day it is, you have support available to you. If you enjoy using our software, please click on the Watch Video Tutorials link at the bottom of any page within the software to bring up our full library of video tutorials that go in depth into all the features and settings for using this software. Now let's head back to the software, and we're going to choose another employee to work. So we can start by setting the shift date. The shift date is the day that the employee actually works, not just the start of the pay period. So if this company's pay period starts on a Sunday and ends on a Saturday bi-weekly, it would be tempting to set this to August 8th in this case. However, let's say that they're closed on Sunday and this employee actually started work on August 10th, the Tuesday. So we would want to choose August 10th because that's the day the employee actually worked. I stress this because this is a common starting mistake. To set it to August 10th, you can use the calendar up here as I have been using, or if you have the Add Shift to Check Days section available, you can also click on the text inside the dates down here to quickly jump to that day for the shift date. Additionally, if you scroll down to the very bottom in the calendar, you can also click on the text of any of the dates down here to jump to that day as well. So now we have August 10th set, which is the first day this next employee worked, so that's fine. If you have multiple departments, you can select your department here. In most cases, businesses will start with just working and just the head office for the location, and then choose the employee you want to set the schedule for. In this case, it'll be Raymond. Now we can use the shift length calculator, just to the right, to set the number of hours that Raymond worked in the pay period. In this case, we'll say that he worked 78 hours and 45 minutes. The number of days that he worked is going to be 10 as well. Notice when you select 10, the screen refreshes and it automatically calculates the length of the shift required. If there's any remaining minutes, it will automatically add those onto the first shift in the period. In this case, it'll be August 10th down here. Scrolling down to the Add Shift to Check Days section, which will become visible when you select the number of days, even if you have it hidden, will come up with its best guess of the days that the employee worked. You'll notice that it matches the number of days up here, 10 and 10. If we need to move one of the days that the employee worked, we can remove the check mark from the day that they didn't work, and you'll notice that this field moves to the number 9 and is in sort of a reddish background. And then just simply move the check mark to the day that they did work. In this case, they did work on August 14th, and now both fields go to green, so we know that we're in balance. A word of caution is that whatever cell has a green background on it is the same date that you said in number 1 the employee did work on. So even if you remove this check mark and click Add Shift to Check Days, the software will still add a shift to this day because you started out by saying that the employee did work on that day. If they didn't, simply change the date up here and redo the settings. In this case, I'll replace this check mark here, and that's what the green cell means. It means that it will set a shift to that day. You'll notice down here that there's also cells with a yellowish background. This tells you which days are the statutory holidays. So this can be useful as well for avoiding them if you need to, or scheduling them if the employee did work on those days. Now all we need to do is click on Add Shift to Check Days, and this employee's schedule has been set. When we scroll down to the bottom, we can now see this employee's schedule within the calendar format. You'll notice that when you mouse over one of the icons down here, these little pencil icons, you get options to either delete or edit a shift. If you do need to edit a shift, simply mouse over the icon and select Edit. The software will then give you a warning that the shift has been deleted. However, it does bring the settings up in the Start and End Time section, where you can simply change the end time to the number of hours that the employee did work. In this case, they worked a full 8 hours after all. Just ignore the start time unless the software tells you otherwise, and it will still give you the accurate count for that day. Then click on Add Shift to Check Days, and when we scroll down, you can see that the changes have been saved for this employee. Now we can go up to the top and do another payroll prepare by Management, Payroll Prepare. And again, set the pay period end date to the correct date. In this case, it's the 21st. And this is what we just generally recommend for new companies without a set payroll cycle. If you do have a set payroll cycle where you understand the pay period end date has to remain consistent and your employee's paid on date is typically consistent, let's say employees are paid usually on the next Wednesday, that's fine. Please continue to use that date as the employee's paid on date as you already have an established schedule. But if you're unsure, just keep both of these dates as the pay period end date and it'll just simplify your payroll. Click on Submit Date, and you'll see that this new employee has been added to the payroll. On this screen, if you notice that the hours are being calculated incorrectly for one of your employees, click on View Timesheets. This button will bring up every single shift that the employee worked and allow you to quickly identify where the problem happens. Maybe you have two shifts entered on the same date by accident, or maybe a shift was entered on the wrong date by accident. Either way, this screen will show you exactly where you need to change the shift inside the scheduler. And of course, you want to review the pay slips to make sure that these are accurate before finalizing the payroll. Because once you finalize the payroll, it cannot be reversed easily. You'll notice that these slips are really easy to read. All the monies the employees are getting are on the left-hand side as a positive number, and all the money being taken off for deductions is on the right-hand side as negative numbers until you arrive at their net pay. Now, if we return to the main screen, we could finalize this payroll if everything was correct. However, as I said, we have a third employee to add. And by the way, you don't always have to do payroll prepare in between adding employees to the schedule. So we'll go back to General and Scheduler, and this last employee will set with a start date of August 9th, and working, and select the employee, which will be Haley. And that's the shift length. In this case, they worked 65 hours and 30 minutes. Number of days, they worked 9 days. It automatically calculates the shift length for us. In this case, they didn't work the 18th. They did work on the 20th. Add shift to check days. And now this employee has been added. Then we can go to Management, Payroll Prepare. Once again, change the Payroll Prepare to the correct end dates. Click on Submit Date. And now we have 3 employees that have been already added to our payroll run. So just like that, it's super easy to add employees to your payroll. And of course, all the payroll deduction calculations are going to be accurate by your own provincial labor standards. So if you have any questions about how to use Payroll Connected, please do contact our support. Once again, the link is found at the bottom of every page within the software, or you can call our support at 250-540-4560 7 days a week. And if you enjoy using the software, certainly do watch the video tutorials link to bring up the full library of tutorials. Start with company configuration to make sure you have all your settings correct. Next, go to employee records to enter in your employee records correctly. And finally, get into further detail on scheduling and finalizing payrolls on the third tutorial. If you have further questions, check out the bonus tutorials down here. And if you need any help at any time, again, please contact our support. The scheduler can be a little intimidating at the start because it's new software. It always takes a while to get used to new software. But I can assure you that after you use Payroll Connected for a couple of payroll runs, you'll be using it like a pro because it's designed to be easy to use, and our support is here to help you if you need help. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy using Payroll Connected.